Alright. Hello, hello. Welcome back. Hopefully you all are doing well today. So I do apologize about Wednesday. Wednesday I was unable to get a video up. That is on me. I had some things come up that, required my attention. So I do apologize about that. That one is on me. But it is Friday, so we live and we learn. We move forward with grace, gratitude, poise, maybe just a little bit of chaos. But we're going to see what's coming through today. So as always, take what resonates, leave what does not. I invite your spirit guides to sit with mine. That way we can get you the best possible message we can. Let's see where we're going. Let's see what wants to come through for this Friday. We did just pass through full moon energy. That was actually part of the reason why I was unavailable. Had some things I had to do. Underneath we have a leg up. Past energy we have truth be told. And future energy we have exchanging gifts. Okay, I feel like we're tapping back into that honest energy that we were getting at the beginning of this week, I believe it was. But the card that is talking to me the loudest is this one. Is the exchanging gifts. There could be an exchange between you and another person, or you and the universe. You are giving up something for something else. Or you have, a gift for someone else and they also have a gift for you. Take that for how that is. But it does stem from the truth that allowed you to become elevated, kind of give you a boost, an advantage. What you got? What you got underneath? The Magi. Okay, that's Virgo energy. The Sage. See, I like the underneath. Self-love. If we're talking about you on a personal level, I know earlier this week on Monday, and forgive me because these readings don't stay locked in my brain. I don't remember every single reading that I've ever done. I would go crazy. But I remember there being, talk about you. Talk about, you know what? I'm able to cheat the system here. Because if I look at the title, I'll be able to tell you. Talking relationships. That's what it was. Talking relationships, fine-tuning the energy. Okay. So it was a bit of an honest conversation between you and another person, or you and yourself. Fine-tuning, what relationships looked like. And for some of you, that focus was about you, right? Fine-tuning, how you looked at relationships from your past self to your future self. And this has kind of got similar energy to that, but this is much more self-focused, right? With the self-love, the Magi, this is transformation energy, if I can grab them. This is Virgo energy, shining that light, learning something new. Self-love is self-explanatory. It is about you. The Sage kind of has that quiet energy to it. With the Sage, I see Moana's grandmother. This may be a little unconventional for you, but it leads to something good. It leads to a transformation that you have needed, right? Underneath, we've got the Queen of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, yeah, Seven of Wands, and the Nine of Cups. I feel like you are building something good here. Without even getting to the rest of the cards, I feel like you are getting, these intuitive hits from your spirit guides. Four of Cups, Seven of Wands, while you are building something new, I feel like you are being led by your intuition. You are being led by your intuition, by your spirit guides, because this cup is coming from the sky, right? It's coming from the sky. And that, in my indication, tells me that it's coming from above. So it can be coming from spirit, source energy, from God, whatever it is that you believe in. But that's where these messages are coming from as you are doing the work, right? And what that's leading to is the Nine of Cups. It's leading to your happiness. With the Queen of Pentacles, it could be aimed at your self-worth. It could be aimed towards money. We'll see where we're going. Showing up as the Ace of Wands. Wasn't the Ace of Wands the wand that, or the one that we were missing in the reading for the beginning of this week? I want to say it was. We were missing the Ace of Wands. Or was it the Ace of Swords? We were missing one of the aces. But this is incredible. Ace of Wands showing up as you. That's beautiful. Seven of Pentacles. The next step. Judgment. Yeah, absolutely. Grounding. Tower. Guiding. Nine of Pentacles. Beautiful. I do see the self-worth finally starting to kick in here. Past energy, we've got strength. Wow. Future energy, we've got the Seven of Cups. Motion, we've got the King of Cups. The Seven of Swords. The Ten of Wands. Look at that. And the outcome is the King of Swords. I feel like you were, moving away from the lie that you were telling yourself at the beginning of this week. This is for someone or a group of you who have collectively been doing the work this week. I mean, and not even just this week. It is coming from you just doing the work in general. So I do want to take a look at these new choices here, because that's the next hurdle. It's making a different choice. Sun, Page of Cups, Two of Pentacles, and there's the Virgo energy of the Hermit. It's really having grace and gratitude for yourself. And what I mean by that when I say that is that you are leading by your happiness, or you need to be leading by your happiness. You also need to forgive yourself. That's going to hit hard for some of you. You need to be able to forgive yourself with this Page of Cups. It's kind of like an apology. Because, we're human. We live and we learn, right? And when we learn from our past mistakes, when we learn from the examples, that we were given as children that we don't want in, our lives, and this is my own personal experience. I have grown up on the philosophy that I don't want to be like, I don't want to be how my parents were when I was growing up. I didn't want to be that way. When it came to my kids, when it came to my relationships, when it came to, how they acted towards each other, I didn't want that. They gave me perfect examples of what not to be. And, as I grew up, of course, you grow up with these energies. You grow up, viewing this, and so you think it's normal. And as I said, earlier this week, it's about breaking that generational trauma. I'm also hearing generational curse. But the point of that is that, people are going to stumble. People are going to fall. People are going to fail, get back up, and try again. But just because you fail at these things doesn't make you a failure, right? It doesn't. It doesn't make you a failure. If you get back up and try again and you learn from the past mistakes, that doesn't make you a failure, that makes you human. You are allowed to be a different person. You are allowed to change, how you act, without it being fake. If you're being genuine in this aspect, you're allowed to change who you are, right? Because if I went down the road that was paved out for me, I would not be sitting here. I would not be sitting here with you guys. I would not have this energy that I do. I wouldn't be this person. And how I got here was through a lot of forgiveness. To people who didn't deserve it. But it wasn't because they didn't deserve it that I gave forgiveness. It was because I deserved it. I deserved to not hold their baggage. And I know we kind of got off on a tangent here, but that's just a portion of the work. That's what I mean by when I say, give yourself grace and gratitude. Really, forgive yourself for the mistakes that you made. People are allowed to change. And what I see here is foundations cracking because of these new choices that you are making. Because some of you are learning to lead with happiness, your happiness. Some of you are forgiving yourself. Some of you are really stepping into a balanced energy because you are learning lessons. This is some serious, re-trajectory type energy. It's not like, oh, I'm just going to shift it just a little bit. I mean, even if you shift it just a little bit, eventually you're going to go off course, right? You're going to go in a new direction. But this is kind of like, I'm seeing a ship, and all of a sudden it's going forward, and all of a sudden it's going this way. Like that, it's like a 90-degree shot. And I know boats don't move that way, but that's what I'm seeing. I feel like you understand with the Seven of Pentacles that you have sown the seeds. I'm also hearing that you've done the work in this portion of your life. And now it's time to make new choices. It's almost like you've worked on a section of the garden, right? If you're working on a garden, you've worked on a section of the garden where you've got all this other garden that you can work with, but you've only worked on this section for quite some time. And I feel like some of you are starting to understand that, this section's done. It's time to move on to other sections. That way, you don't have just this little patch. You have a full garden. And translation of that metaphor is you've worked on this aspect of your life. It's time to work on other aspects of your life. Get them up to par. Pull out the weeds. Plant new seeds. Really turn it into something that you want. And that's what I feel like, this week has kind of been about. Is making your life, your relationships, you, exactly what it is that you want it to be. Not me. Not other people. Not your coworkers, past relationships. What do you want your life to look like? I feel like that has been a really big takeaway this week. And I see you leading with this Nine of Pentacles. That's wonderful. And I see you also stepping into the strength energy. Even though, yes, it shows up in the past, strength doesn't just go away. It allows you to move with your head held high, your chin up, your head held high, and you get to move through this. So I do want to look at this lie. This lie that you are moving away from. Four of Swords. Devil energy. Two of Swords. World. You are moving away from the ignorance of it all. And underneath we've got the Wheel of Fortune. You are moving away from the ignorance that is you. And what I mean by that is the ignorance of telling yourself, oh no, I'm perfect the way things are. Or no, there's no reason for me to change. There's no reason for me to apologize. There's no reason for me to, connect to a higher version of myself. There's no reason for that. No, no. I'm perfect the way I am. People change. People evolve. And if you don't change, you're kind of you're kind of that girl or that guy from high school where they were kind of a bully or they were the popular kid, and then they go to the reunion and they still think they're all that in a bag of Doritos, and come to find out they're not. They've just stayed stagnant for God knows how long. You end up being that person. And I don't think you guys want to be that person. You don't want to be ignorant to the world around you. You don't want to be ignorant to what your body is trying to tell you. Especially if you're here on this channel, if you're watching this now, I feel like you wouldn't be one of those people. But everyone is different. People show up on this channel when they need to. So if you are one of those people, I do apologize for taking a jab at you, but this is my way of calling you out. But you are moving beyond this. You are moving beyond that lie that you are telling yourself that, maybe you're not good enough for this. Or, maybe you'll never succeed with this. I'll never love myself the way that I need to. Well, if you keep telling yourself these things, that's what you're going to get. Our words have power. Our words can manifest things into our world. And so it's important to get your inner thoughts and, what you're saying to yourself under wraps. Because if you don't, you're just going to continue down this road of this. Of this. But for most of you, I see you moving beyond that. I do. And I do see you having that clarity here. I do see this clarity. King of Swords, Star card, wish fulfillment. Absolutely. Knight of Pentacles, lessons learned. The Empress, taking your feelings into consideration, and the Four of Wands. Success. That is the clarity. And then we have the Emperor underneath. That is clarity. That is balance. That is union. Between the 3D, the 5D, the physical and the emotional. Between the two energies that are inside of everyone. Yes, we resonate more with one than we do with the other. But this is where both of those energies come together. Zodiac signs that I see. We have quite a bit here, actually. We've got Leo, Virgo, more Leo, Aries, Scorpio, Aquarius, Libra, Taurus, Cancer. I meant to say Capricorn, but I'll walk away with Cancer. And then fixed signs, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. So one more time, just for shits and giggles. We've got Cancer, which I don't know why I called Cancer, but Cancer, I'll walk away with you. Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Aries, Libra, Taurus, Aries, Capricorn, and fixed signs, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Wow. Wow. Alright guys, this is what I have for you for your Friday into the weekend. Hopefully this helped. Hopefully this resonated for you. If it did, leave a like, leave a comment. It definitely helps me knowing that I reached out and touched base with at least one of you. But until next week, and who knows, you may see me this weekend. I make no promises, but we'll see, to make up for Wednesday. But until then, guys, you take care. Have a wonderful Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you all again later. Bye for now.